Will Kutter Crawford stuff suffice as an everyday starting pitcher for the Boston Red Sox? More on today's Locked On Red Sox.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Gabby, former ESPN social media associate and current host of the Boston Balling podcast, and I am here to bring you the latest in all things Boston Red Sox, Monday through Friday, straight to your favorite podcast feed for free. And honestly, who doesn't love free? So might as well take advantage of that and check it out, right? So head to Locked On Red Sox, your source for all things Boston Red Sox. Locked On is your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers join today and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. Welcome to another episode of Locked On Red Sox. Happy Monday. We are turning that corner. We are finally here in March, and opening day is very, very close. I'm going to be touching on that a little bit more later in the show. But one pending question going into this season for the Red Sox is, what is the starting rotation actually going to look like? They have some guys who could potentially be starters or potentially be bullpen pieces, and it's hard to say for sure who's going to land where. But one pitcher who's been in this conversation of people wondering really where he's going to be is Kutter Crawford. And the Red Sox have seemed to indicate a lot towards the fact that he's going to be in the rotation going into the 2024 season, but they might change their mind. I mean, it's hard to know for sure right now what the Red Sox are leaning towards, but he did pitch on a Sunday. The Red Sox played the Toronto Blue Jays and won 3-1. He pitched 3 innings, gave up 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and struck out 4. That's pretty solid. If he struck out 4 batters over 3 innings, that means that over a 6-inning start, he would strike out 8. And that's very good stuff. That's a really solid start from somebody you want in the rotation. And the question then becomes, how does that translate over for him? What are his strengths? What are his weaknesses? Could he truly be a piece of the rotation that the Red Sox can rely on? I'm looking at that strikeout rate, and he needs to continue to get those strikeouts up and be able to get into the range of comfortability for a starter, because a lot of times if guys can't strike batters out, they won't last too long as a starter. His K percentage is in the 66th percentile right now among MLB pitchers, so he's about average in terms of the strikeouts that he's recording. Whiff percentage is also in about the middle, in the 57th percentile. So those are very average numbers, nothing too great, nothing too bad. Hard hit percentage is about a 76th percentile. So he's getting batters out, but they're not necessarily swinging and missing. So that's something that I'm looking for from him going into the 2024 season. The other thing for me is that he absolutely needs to start pitching deeper into games. It was a good first step for him having these couple solid starts in spring training. He made his Grapefruit League debut last Tuesday, and in that game, he ended up giving up 1 run on 3 hits and struck out 1 batter. But the amount at which he's able to pitch at one time is something that could make or break his position in this Red Sox pitching staff. He averaged 77.4 pitches over his 23 starts in 2023. And manager Alex Cora actually said that his stuff will play, but he has to maintain it for 100 pitches. And Kutter knows this. He acknowledged the need to face opponents a third time and be able to pitch into the 6th and 7th innings. So at least he's aware of it. It's something that he needs to work on in 2023. He pitched 129.1 innings total, gave up 58 earned runs and 107 hits, and 17 home runs were in that mix realm of things he gave up in 2023. He walked 36 batters and struck out 135 and had a record of 6-8. His total ERA for the season was a 4.04. And I'm not saying that's bad. That's an ERA that you'll take from a 4th or 5th starter. And right now, Kutter Crawford is not more than a 4th or 5th starter. He has the potential, I feel, to do more than that, but until he shows that he can pitch deeper into games, that's not going to happen. And he's in a very similar situation as Garrett Whitlock, who has had experience starting and pitching in relief for Boston. And the Red Sox have kind of experimented with him in both positions, but you have to wonder what's best suited for the pitcher. And if they want to find out where Kutter Crawford best fits in, they have to start stretching him out more. I do get that in spring training, they don't want to push pitchers too much, but they're not going to know if Crawford's going to be able to pitch deeper into games unless they start putting him in situations where he struggled last year and being able to build up that stamina to pitch deeper into games, because you have to build up the arm endurance to be able to pitch that deep into games. And with Kutter Crawford, my concern is he'll get onto the mound for his first start of the season and he'll pitch about 4 or 5 innings, and then the Red Sox won't be able to get much more from that out of him. And again, if he's the only starter who's in that situation and you have other starters who are going to give you the innings that you need, it's not as much of an issue. But the problem is that the Red Sox don't have a lot of starters right now who can eat innings. And that's what makes signing somebody like Jordan Montgomery make a little bit more sense, because if nothing else, he will give you innings and he will give you length. And the Red Sox really need length right now, considering what happened with the bullpen last year and guys being overworked and being thrown into situations they wouldn't normally be thrown into. And it puts Alex Cora in a tough spot of having to throw pitchers in situations where he might not necessarily want them to be throwing. So the Red Sox absolutely need innings. Can guys give innings this year? Absolutely. I mean, Lucas Giolito, if he can get himself back up to at least some of what he was prior to all of his off-field issues, he can build up his innings count to the point where he can be a successful starting pitcher in this rotation who could hopefully pitch 6 or 7 innings a game. Brayan Bello, we definitely need to see more of from him. He will provide length. When he's on point, he's very, very dominant, and he will eat innings for Boston. He can pitch a 6 or 7 inning start, and it will be very successful for him. My thing with him, though, is he needs to get better during daytime starts. For whatever reason, he struggles significantly more during the day than he does at night. So hopefully Andrew Bailey can really hone in on what his strengths and weaknesses are and figure out how he can change his routine for daytime starts to the point where he's still getting his full workout and warm up in, so that he doesn't feel like it's being cut short during the day, because that could be a driving factor in why his daytime starts have been significantly worse than his nighttime ones. But he's somebody who has the capability to give innings, and Nick Pivetta again has the capability to give innings, but there's no sure thing. No guy in the starting rotation right now that you can confidently look at and say he'll definitely give us 6 to 7 innings to start. I feel like they believe Lucas Giolito will do that. I think they believe Brayan Bello will do that, but we don't know for sure. A lot of these guys are very much still in the development process or trying to hone in on where they're going to fit in, and we don't know how Lucas Giolito is going to come back. So signing somebody like Jordan Montgomery would naturally take pressure off of some of these guys like Kutter Crawford, like Brayan Bello, allow them to continue their development but not feel as much pressure of having to go 6 or 7 innings every start, and it alleviates the Red Sox from feeling like we need all of this to go right. Kutter needs to go 6 to 7 innings every start. Bayo needs to go 6 to 7 innings every start. Giolito needs to go 6 to 7 innings every start. It would just be a chain reaction of the Red Sox putting natural pressure on some of these guys to go deeper into games. So I'm hoping they make that move. They do sign Jordan Montgomery, but when it comes to Kutter Crawford at the end of the day, I'm not sold on him being a reliable starter every 5th day right now. He has some great stuff. He has a good pitch selection, good resume of pitches. So that's a good start for sure. In order to be a successful starting pitcher, you need to have a good mix of pitches that you're throwing each start. So that I do like from him, but he needs to get up those strikeout numbers and he needs to pitch deeper into games in order for me to feel confident in him. But time will tell. He'll pitch a couple more spring training starts probably, and then we'll see from there on opening day where the Red Sox land. Is he going to be in the rotation? Is he going to be in the bullpen? We'll see. But coming up, the Red Sox made another small depth move over the weekend, and I'm going to be touching on that a little bit more. Do you love sports betting? Is it something that you could really see yourself getting into if you haven't yet? If so, FanDuel is the place for you. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. FanDuel is great. It really allows you a lot of different opportunities to win money. So you should head to it today if you're looking to just take home some extra cash. Also, you should check out Locked On Sports today, as we as a network have launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel, which is available on both YouTube and Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. It's so exciting for Locked On. Nobody else has a 24/7 streaming channel, so if you're looking to get caught up in all things going on in sports, Locked On Sports today is the place for you. The Boston Red Sox are one day closer to opening day, and it's very exciting for baseball fans to have baseball back, and I'm ready for having games that actually count towards their record. As nice as it is to be able to watch baseball again, even though it's spring training, it still doesn't have that same feeling of playing regular season games and knowing these games count towards the Red Sox record, especially because the Red Sox have not played too poorly yet in spring training. And it's a great time to see some of the prospects who could come up and be the future of the Red Sox organization. But it is really nice once opening day hits to say, okay, now the games actually count and are going towards the Red Sox record, and we can really see how this current team stacks up against other teams. But one move the Red Sox did make was they signed CJ Cron, first baseman and designated hitter, to a minor league deal. He was a one-time All-Star. He is a righty. He's 34 years old, and in 2023, he recorded 64 hits and 12 home runs with a batting average of .248. He scored 38 runs and scored 37 RBIs with an on-base percentage of .295, a slugging percentage of .434, and an OPS of .729. So those are pretty good numbers. He's not a fantastic hitter, but he will get the job done. He will get himself on base. But some important things to note about him are, one, he comes from a baseball family. His father, Chris Cron, played 2 years in the majors and is currently an assistant hitting coach for the Oakland Athletics. And his brother, Kevin Cron, also spent 2 years in MLB. Their cousin, Chad Moeller, played in the majors from 2000 to 2010. So lots of family history there. So CJ was kind of meant to be a baseball player. Another important thing to know about him is he has hit well at Fenway Park. In 16 games at Fenway Park, he's hit 328 with 6 home runs and 13 RBIs. So that's always a good sign too, is sometimes players aren't the best players overall, but they have certain places where they like to hit more than others because they put up good numbers there. And since Fenway Park is a place where he's put up good numbers, it could be a good addition for Boston. It is a minor league deal, but he is a veteran with power and experience, so that could be beneficial for the Boston Red Sox heading into the season. You could never have too many veteran players on the team. We learned that last year with Justin Turner. He's played for 5 major league teams over 10 seasons and is a career .260 hitter with 187 home runs and 604 RBIs. The assumption here is that he's going to compete with Bobby Dahlbeck for playing time. Casas will be the primary everyday first baseman, but he can't play every single day. So there is going to need to be another solution for days that he's resting. And Bobby Dahlbeck has not put up the best numbers with the Red Sox. He's spent a lot of time in AAA and bouncing back between the majors and AAA when there's an injury at the major league level and they need somebody to come up. He's been there as that guy to take over, but he struggles when he does come up. He hits very successfully actually in the minors, and confidence wise he seems like he feels a lot better down at AAA. So it could be the pressure of playing at the major league level that's too much for him, and if that's the case, then that's an issue. That's something he's going to have to figure out really quickly if he wants to be a successful Major League Baseball player. But the other thing could be that Boston just isn't the right setting for him. Boston's a big stage and a hard place to play baseball, so it might not be for everybody. And Bobby Dahlbeck might be a player who doesn't feel like Fenway is a good fit for him because Boston has a tough fan base and a very loyal and dedicated fan base. And if you don't play well, you could get ripped apart alive by the Red Sox fan base. So that's a lot of pressure for somebody, and maybe Bobby just doesn't feel like that kind of pressure is for him. But this is a big prove it year for him. Again, especially because now CJ Cron has been added to the equation. Bobby's going to have to step up even more if he wants to earn more of that secondary first baseman role on the team. If not, it is just going to go to Cron because he's proven and he's experienced. And again, this is not a bad decision at all because Casas will still be the number one guy. I expect him to have a very good season in 2024, but it can never hurt to have some veteran experience and a proven guy in there who can help out with those first base responsibilities when Casas is sitting. And Cron could provide that role for Boston this year. Last year it was Justin Turner, and they need somebody, and he is a power bat who could bring you at least some depth at the first base position. Cron grew up in Arizona, played at the University of Utah, and was drafted in the 44th round in 2008, but elected to not sign with the White Sox at the time. He also spent time on Cape Cod. After strong seasons with the Utes in 2008 and 2009, Cron competed in the Cape Cod Baseball League in 2010 as a member of the Katuitt Kettleers. He appeared in 19 games and compiled a .275 batting average, 3 home runs, and 13 RBIs. In one game against the Harwich Mariners, he finished 4 for 4 and spearheaded an 8-7 win. I don't know if you've seen any Cape Cod Baseball League games, but I used to go with my dad all the time when we go up to the Cape, and they are so fun to watch, super enjoyable, lots of very good young talent, guys who are being scouted by professional scouts that likely have a really good chance to make it to the majors at some point, or at least go to a professional team. So there's a lot of talent in the Cape Cod League. You do have to be one of the best players in college baseball to have a chance to play there. And the fact that he did shows that he already has played baseball in Massachusetts on a big stage in that Cape Cod Baseball League. So he's more familiar, at least with the area. He probably understands what Boston fans are like. So that's all a plus. And because he's older, he probably won't give you the most value on the team, but he could be a steal of a signing on a bargain if he ends up providing a ton of value when he does come up to the majors and is given those opportunities to be in the lineup. He's somebody who the Red Sox could really utilize as a key hitter if Casas is injured or if he's resting one day and they need somebody to play first base. He could be that guy, especially with his apparent confidence at Fenway Park. After he played in the Cape Cod Baseball League, it paved the way for a breakout 2011 season at Utah when he led the nation in on-base plus slugging percentage and regular slugging percentage, and he earned Baseball America All-American honors. The Los Angeles Angels selected him in the first round, 17th overall in 2011. His experience in the Cape helped him evolve from an under-the-radar player to a highly coveted prospect, and that's what the Cape Cod Baseball League does. That's why it's such a competitive league to play in, and the best of the best play there because it really can set you up for success in the majors down the road. While Cron has had some inevitable ups and downs over the years, his consistency has actually been impressive over his largely productive career. He's hit 250 or better in every full season he's played but one and has belted 25 plus homers 4 times. Red Sox fans may remember him from his time with the Rays when he slugged 30 homers in 2018, and he was kind of a pain to the Boston Red Sox that year because he was playing in the division and the Red Sox had to see him a lot, and he hit well at Fenway. So that was not fun for Red Sox fans. So that's a good sign that hopefully he can continue some of that success in Boston this year. In 2022, he racked up 29 homers and 102 RBIs over 150 games in an all-star season in Colorado. That was one of his best seasons of his career, and it paid off because he was voted into the all-star game and just had a very successful season that year. Last year, those numbers dipped to 12 homers and recording 37 RBIs over 70 games between the Rockies and Angels. A lot of people do believe his power to left field could line up nicely in Boston with the Green Monster in play. So there could be a lot of pros to him being in Boston in 2024, but a downside is he's had a string of bad injury luck. He underwent season-ending knee surgery to stabilize his patella in 2020 after just 13 games with the Tigers. And then back, groin, wrist, and hand injuries held him back in stretches in 2021 and 2022, and a lingering back injury limited him last year. So he can't always stay on the field, so that's definitely a risk with signing him. But again, that's why it's a minor league deal, low risk, high reward type of situation. If he can perform, it's a bargain for Boston, and if not, it's just a minor league deal anyway, so they aren't really losing much by not having him perform well. So if he can stay on the field, could be a very good veteran signing for Boston, a depth move. The pressure is now on Bobby Dahlbeck. Who's going to land that other first base position? We'll probably find out in a few weeks when opening day comes, which is 24 days away. And who are notable players to wear number 24 in Boston? There are a couple of great ones that I'm going to tell you about next. Are you ever trying to score last-minute tickets? I know for me, I'm not the best at planning in advance, and sometimes I get in a pinch where I need tickets for something at the last minute. And if that's the case, Gametime is the perfect place to do that. I've had ticket buying experiences that have been very frustrating because I didn't know if the seats I was paying for were good. The tickets were very pricey, and I wasn't sure if I was getting my money's worth. Gametime will take away all of that stress because they actually have a seat map where you can see the view from your seat, and they're giving you the best price guarantee. So I compare prices on Gametime to other ticket buying vendors, and there is a difference. Gametime is cheaper, and it makes a huge difference when trying to buy tickets and look for a way to know that you're getting reassured that it's going to be the experience you want it to be. So head to Gametime today if you're looking for last minute tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. It really will give you the lowest prices. I promise you, you will not be disappointed if you stick with Gametime for purchasing tickets for any event. You also won't be disappointed if you check out Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is a 24/7 streaming channel that Locked On has launched, and it's the first ever one of its type. All the local experts of Locked On, plus the national shows covering every league, will be there to keep you caught up in all things going on in sports, no matter what time zone you're in. So head to YouTube or Amazon Fire TV today and find Locked On Sports Today there. We are 24 days away from opening day. That is so close. I can taste the Fenway Franks on the tip of my tongue. All the good food at Fenway Park. I just want to be back at a baseball game. It's going to feel amazing. The weather's going to start getting warmer. It's going to be a lot of bats at Fenway and just those sounds of Fenway Park. I'm so excited. 24 days is not a long time. And in honor of 24 days until opening day, who is a notable player to wear number 24 in Boston? Well, there are definitely two that are important to note, one of which is Manny Ramirez. I mean, to talk about the success that he's had in Boston, just a lot of different success stories for him. He played in MLB for parts of 19 seasons with the Indians, Red Sox, Dodgers, White Sox, and Rays before playing one season in the Chinese Professional Baseball League in Taiwan. Ramirez is recognized for having great batting skill and power. He was a 9-time Silver Slugger and was one of 28 players to hit 500 career home runs. His 21 Grand Slams are third all time, and his 29 postseason home runs are the most in MLB history. He appeared in 12 All-Star games with a streak of 11 consecutive games beginning in 1998 that included every season that he played with the Red Sox. In 1994, he became a Major League regular and finished second in voting for the Rookie of the Year award. And then by 1995, he had become an All-Star. He was with the Indians in playoff appearances in 1995, 1996, 1997, 1998, and 1999. This included an appearance in the 1995 and 1997 World Series. In 1999, Ramirez set the Indians' single-season RBIs record with 165. After the 2000 season, he signed with the Boston Red Sox, and then during his time in Boston, he and teammate David Ortiz became one of the best offensive tandems in baseball history. He led the Red Sox to World Series championships in 2004 and 2007 before being traded to the Dodgers in 2008 as part of a 3-team deal that also involved the Pirates. It was definitely really disappointing when the Red Sox traded him. I mean, he had a heck of a career in Boston. In November 2000, the Indians offered Ramirez a 7-year, $119 million contract. While this would have made Ramirez the highest paid player in baseball, the deal was rejected by Ramirez and his agent, Jeff Murad, who were seeking a 10-year, $200 million contract. He was then reportedly pursued by the New York Yankees and Seattle Mariners, but in December agreed to an 8-year, $160 million deal with the Red Sox, with $20 million options for 2009 and 2010, pushing the total value of the contract to $200 million for 10 years. And he just immediately made an impact for the Red Sox, hitting .408 in April 2001, and just had a great first half, amassing a .335 batting average with 26 home runs and 84 RBIs at the 2001 All-Star break. He did miss some time battling hamstring injuries and struggled down the stretch, but he finished the 2001 season still at .306 with 41 home runs and 125 RBIs, setting the season franchise record of hitting the most home runs as a first-year Red Sox player. He just had so much success in Boston and is truly one of the faces of the franchise. And the Red Sox absolutely don't win that 2004 World Series without him. Just an iconic player to play in Boston. So I love Manny. I'm a big fan of him. And I miss him playing in Boston. I miss having players like that. Another notable player to wear number 24 was Dwight Evans. He played 19 years in Boston, and he just was an all-around very skilled player. 379 home runs and 8 Gold Glove awards. I mean, he's had so much that he's accomplished in his career as well. 3-time All-Star, 8 Gold Gloves, 2 Silver Slugger awards, and he played the second most career games for the Red Sox of any player, surpassed only by Carl Yastrzemski. So he, at the time when he played with Boston, which was from 1972 to 1990, he was definitely considered one of the faces of the franchises because he was there for so long. He made his major league debut with the Red Sox on September 16th, 1972, during a Red Sox 10-0 win over the Indians. He appeared in a total of 18 games late in the season, batting 15 for 57, which is a 263 average, with 1 home run and 6 RBIs. Early in his major league career, he was primarily a defensive standout with a modest bat, but in the second half of his career, he became a powerful hitter, twice winning a Silver Slugger. Originally, he was assigned the uniform number 40, but quietly he wanted to wear number 24, which was the number of his idol, Willie Mays. In 1973, the Sox gave him number 24, the number he wore for the rest of his career. He was the Red Sox regular right fielder starting in 1973, a role he would have until 1987. In 1973, he batted .223 with 10 home runs and 32 RBIs. And in 1974, he batted .281 with 10 home runs and 70 RBIs. In 1975, the Red Sox won the AL East and then swept the A's in the 1975 ALCS. Evans batted just 1 for 10 against Oakland, being held to a double in the first game. But in the 1975 World Series against the Reds, he batted 7 for 24, which is a 292 average, with a home run and 5 RBIs. In the historic 6th game, with the score tied 6-6 in the 11th inning, Evans made a spectacular catch of a drive hit by Red second baseman Joe Morgan, and then he threw it to first base to complete an inning-ending double play. And then Carlton Fisk hit his famous walk-off home run in the 12th inning to win the game for the Red Sox 7-6, forcing a 7th game, which was won the next day by the Reds. But he made it a significant impact. One of the biggest things that stands out about him is his remarkable talent, both in the field and at the plate. So Dwight Evans, definitely a very notable player to wear number 24 in Boston. And there you have it, folks. 24 days away, super close. Enjoy watching more spring training games in the meantime. It'll be here before you know it. As always, keep the faith, go Red Sox, and I will catch you on the flip side.